Okay, welcome to version 6 of the librarian and the latest software. I guess I want to go over the software first. Let's look at the knobs. Alright, the noise section, I turned from a white noise source into a pink noise source, which is a little more balanced sounding. And the bass and treble of these have been all adjusted in all the presets, so this is kind of necessitating a preset update also. On the preview screen, you notice instead of the VMod we have a mode now, and the mode was actually over on the pitch page. It was right here, and it was called PRVW, which I thought was kind of confusing. It was sort of out of place. What happens now is the mode has been reduced from 24 modes to 12. It's been pared down to just the essentials and some of the duplicates removed. PMod now works, I think, better for pitch preview. It lifts the bass when you set it negative, lifts the treble when you set it positive, and when you're using the preview oscillator in as a fourth oscillator, rather than for preview, in modes 0, 4, and 8, you the PMod instead dips the bass or dips the treble, depending on how you're setting it. So that's different, and I think simplified and better. On the pitch page we have a new C-Vol knob. What that does is it depresses the volume at note edges. So between notes, the volume will dip more the higher you set this knob. That can give you like valve kind of actions on trumpet voices, things like that. It's kind of neat. I like it. Okay, there's also been a small change to the scaling of all the filter reso values. So like here's a reso performance, here's a reso, but it's fairly minor. Okay, let's take a look at the librarian. You'll notice we have the slots command now has a -.inf flag. And what that does is it tries to infer the best slot value, the best file that matches that slot. So let me show that to you. Let's see, slots, directory, okay, used to this sort of screen, and the question marks for slots that it doesn't know what they are. They're not exact matches for any particular file. If we use the .inf flag, okay, now it's making best guesses for these slots, and the score here, the higher it is, the less of a match it is. So the UFO matches down here are pretty good, but cello and zombie aren't so good. And over here it's trying to match up preset files to profile slots, which of course doesn't work. So that's kind of nonsense. Alright, let's see. Next we have a new join command. And what that does is it takes numbered DLP files and sticks them into pre or pro containers files. And it will also take pre, pro, and spy files and dump them into an EEPROM, combine them into an EEPROM container. So it's really just the opposite of the split command. And that's just kind of a convenience for me, really, when I'm bundling up the software and presets and junk. Alright, next up is a new loop command, and what that does is it allows you to do a loopback test with a raw USB serial dongle. So what you need to do is connect the green and white wires together from the dongle, and that loops the transmit to the receive. So let me show you how this works. First we'll do a ports. So you can see port 1 here is my lab unit. Port 1 has something to do with Linux, I don't know where it is. I'm going to plug in this loopback dongle, And you can see that we now have two TTY USBs. So that's port 2, because that's the one that changed. So let's change to port 2. Right? Now let's do a loop back. And it's nice to put this in quotes. You don't have to, but if you want to preserve spacing, you know. Okay, so that loop back some junk. You can put any text there you want to try it out. Let's put the port back to 1. Okay. Okay, finally we have the morph command. And what that does is it takes either the current knob settings, a preset that's in a slot on your D-Lev, or a preset file that's on your hard drive somewhere, and it morphs it. It changes some of the settings in the preset, and then it writes them back to the knobs. So it's kind of a live kind of thing that you can play around with presets. Obviously, if you go from a slot or a file to the knobs, it's only going to change that file or slot content preset to some degree. But if you use the knobs as the source and the knobs as the destination, obviously it'll sort of evolve over time more than just change from kind of the base. So you can use a -MO, which will change the oscillator parameters, a -MN, which will change the noise parameters, a -ME, which will change the EQ, which is the bass and treble on the noise and oscillator sources, a -MF, which changes all of the filter frequencies, including the multi-mode filters on the oscillator and noise source, and all of the formant frequencies. Or you could do an MR, -MR, which will do change certain parameters in the resonator. You can also give it a seed so that you can, if you're morphing a slot or a file, you can use the same parameters and the same seed, and you'll end up with the same result. So it's a bit of a way to go back in time if you're doing those. It doesn't work though with the knob. There's no way to get back generally to a knob type morph, knob to knob. So just to give you an idea of what that's like, let me do one. Let me morph one. And we'll use dash file. Use the bell elephant preset, and we'll change the filter, all the filters, with the strength of 10, and we'll change the resonator with a strength of 10. So let me turn up the volume here. All right, here we go. So there's a little live example of it running right there. Alright, let's go ahead and update the presets and the software. We need to go to the all directory. Well, I will here to just give you a view of what it is. Okay, so we have these dated files here. We have an EEPROM file, which we don't want to use. We have a pro file, which we don't want to use. We have a pre file, which contains all of the new presets that have been updated for the new noise source and other changes. And we have a spy file, which is our software, and that's identical to this hex named file, just for convenience. Alright, let's go back down and do the update. Alright. So we're going to pump, and we're going to use a file that directory, and it's to, let's do the software first. Okay, we can check the version if we want to. Oops. You can see that the version here, the 27C2, is the same as our SPI file, so that's cool. Alright, let's go ahead and pump up the presets. This would be pre here. And this takes a while, so I'm just gonna snip this out and get to the end. Okay, there we go. And we can check to see that the presets are indeed okay by doing a slides command. Okay, so there's all our new presets. We have the brown noise and the shortwave are new to this load. And of course the system profiles don't match anything, which is what we expect because they're not in this directory. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching.